Hi everyone, today we're playing Ad Nauseam in Modern. Nothing fancy, nothing special, just a classic old Ad Nauseam list. We're just having some fun while we're kind of waiting for a ban list update in really all three of my formats. Legacy, I think something from Rescaminator is probably going to go. In Modern, there's obviously Nadu, and then, who knows what else they'll end up getting to. And then, Pioneer is also in a little bit of a sketchy place with Amalia and everything right now. So we're just playing some Ad Nauseam. We're just having some fun with it. We'll see how it goes. I do have a couple updates in the sideboard into the Floodmaw consigned to memory. Both of these are I think pretty good at the moment. We have answers to permanent hate. Largely I'm thinking like Blood Moon out of energy, or Consign is pretty good against like the Eldrazi or anything like that. So yeah, that's what we're playing. If you are interested in more, experimental versions of Ad Naus, like the Necro stuff, I will get back to that at some point, but I want to test that in a more relevant meta, so probably after the ban list. Same thing for doing a little bit more with Gristlebrand, although I will be doing that again as well. Other than that, if you're interested in any particular deck, feel free to put it in the comments. I can probably accommodate it, and I try and work through a bit of a variety. All right, let's get into round number one. Let's get started. Okay, so we are here in round number one with our opening hand. Our opponent is a Gigantha deck, which could suggest Storm. This could also suggest like Prowess or maybe something like that. So this hand is okay. I'm not super excited about it. It is potentially a nice clean turn 4. We do have this slight to find something. I mean, obviously we need to find other combo pieces to make that happen, but slight on turn 1 gives us a decent chance at Profane, which should at the minimum let us Naus on 4. So I am going to keep this. I think this is potentially a little bit slow, but I think it's not something we're really going to send back here. Opponent leads on Mountain. So Mountain Pass I like better than like Mountain Swift Spear here, although Storm can definitely just kill us on an early turn. Another land is really not what I wanted to see. I'm going to play the Sleight of Hand before the Lotus Bloom to make them think that maybe we slighted for Bloom. Here I will take Thoughtseize, although I don't like that we've missed on, our draw 2 looks with Slight at, finding business. The Thoughtseize could potentially slow them down if they are Storm, though. Marsh Flats maybe makes me think that they're not. Because what would this be getting? Okay, so Boros Energy we're thinking now, and they have an Ajani. All right. So they make another cat. Here's where we're going to Thoughtseize them in case they have the Blood Moon. They do play probably, I would say, 2 or 3 main deck from what I've seen so far. Grace is a decent pickup. They do have the Blood Moon, so Galvanic Discharge doesn't matter. Flage doesn't. Well, Flage matters a little bit, but we'll still we'll play the Thoughtseize, or we'll play the. We're still taking the Blood Moon because we're just dead if we don't. I mean, not 100%, but we're probably dead if we don't. I'm guessing this is probably Flage. They get to hit us for 3. The Thoughtseize was definitely timely. They're discharging their own cat to flip the Ajani, and then they could play another Ajani. So that's a decent line too. This is a reasonably fast clock. They do not have another red permanent though. They have 2 cards in hand. One of them is the Flage. So the Flage will take us down to 12. I think we're very likely not dead this turn, or this coming turn. So that's good. I think we would be dead on the turn after that. So we're gonna have to win on our next turn probably, which does mean top decking something here, because this isn't gonna do it. I actually should have played a City of Brass. This is deal damage or lose life. Deal damage. Okay, so we now can potentially survive that turn. I mean, again, I don't think I'm going to need the Angel's Grace here. So, you know, if we don't draw something good, we've got the Fog, and that is decent. I think they have another land that... No, they don't. Not as far as we know. Yeah, they played Hub, they played a Johnny, they played Blood Moon. So it's just the Flage we know about. Okay, so they're buffing their cats up 3, 6, 7, 8 down to 7. Flage us down to 4 probably. That's what I would imagine is going to happen. Oh, they're dashing a Ragavan. Interesting. So then that hits us for 10 in total. Down to 5. And they eat a card, make a treasure. What do they get? They get a Profane Tutor. So I'm pretty happy about that. Not a card we wanted. Really what we're looking for, Naus or Spoils. I'd take a cantrip, preferably Preordain if it's not either of those. So we have, what, 5? The Ring would also be okay. The Bloom is coming off Suspend. We don't really need this Bloom. Not that I'm expecting them to destroy it in the main deck. Ooh, and we pick up the Spoils. And so that's the city. So, you know, never didn't have it. We're going to go Oracle. And with our Oracle resolved, we can go for the Grace Spoils. So Spoils, holding priority, and then Grace. And we did have a decent number of hits there. I mean, Naus or Spoils are 5 hits to just win the game on the spot. And then we have another 6 cantrips that are all decent hits. Name Simeon Spirit Guide. And we're picking up game number 1 here. All right, let's go to the next. They are playing Blood Moon, so we want our Flood Maws. Unlife could be okay, but I think I'm not super into it here. Pact of Negation, I'm not that into. Thoughtseize is kind of medium. I mean, yes, we did snipe the Blood Moon there, but it can also just be not that great. There's also the Ring, which I think I'm more into copies of the Ring than I am. Well, their clock is kind of fast, but it does fog. Okay, so I like the Ring over the Naus. Maybe we go down to 2 Thoughtseize. Could play another Unlife. Could also play like a Consigned, potentially stifle a Ring trigger if we're low on life with the Ring. I think that's not that likely. Do we want the Lotus Blooms if we're not playing the Naus, though? Maybe we should still just play the Naus. Maybe we cut one more Thoughtseize. Maybe we cut the Pact. We don't really need Pact. Could counter in a Johnny. I'll take the Unlife. I think we will cut the last Pact. Blood Moon is really the main concern. Maybe we go down to 1 Thoughtseize. I don't love Thoughtseize here. I mean, yeah, like, if you get exactly Moon, it's good, but they're also just an aggressive deck that can just kind of quickly clock you if they have like an Ocelot draw or something with the life gain guy who makes the Angels. If you don't snipe a Blood Moon, then most of the rest of their cards don't really matter, so it feels a little bit awkward to like have a Blood Moon in that spot. Sounds pretty good. We do have, well, we're sort of stone dead to Blood Moon, but we do have a Profane, we have Slight, so this is going to be a keep. Lead on Sacred Foundry. Ragavan? They're playing something for 1 red, I would imagine. Yeah, okay. Ragavan's like a little bit annoying, but it's... I mean, the worst thing it could enable here is turn 2 Blood Moon, and that would be game losing. But we can't really do anything about it. Oh, Do I want the guaranteed land drop, or do I want the additional fog to survive a turn if I have to? If they have like a super fast clock, I think I will actually take the Angel's Grace. I think it's pretty likely I can find another land with this other slight. So if next turn we go Murkwater, Suspend Profane, then turn 3 we go like Gemstone and Fog if we have to, and then Slight. I like our odds there. Again, this is all supposing that we don't get Blood Mooned. If we do get Blood Mooned, we are probably just toast. We need to find both Floodmaw and our basic island. And if I'm a little worried. Oh, they're thought seizing us. Well, I mean, they take Oracle, I would imagine. We do have at least some resilience to this. I would imagine that they would have played the Blood Moon if they had it, so I think they just don't have the Blood Moon. They do have the red for Johnny, so that's something to be mindful of as far as like how much damage they can do. The second cantrip does give us a little bit of extra selection, but it's a little bit awkward if we have to Grace to live, and I think we might need to. This is already going to be 5 damage coming in, and then like with another creature. Oh, they just have the Blood Moon. Sure. All right, we're probably dead here. We need really the island. Well, we did suspend the Profane, so it's not impossible. They're bolting their cat, flip the Ajani, shoot us for 2 while making a cat. All right, so next turn they could hit us for 4, down to 7, make a cat, shoot us for 3, down to 4. So we can get Island or Floodmaw with that. But yeah, this isn't gonna work. All right, no. I'll scoop it up. I mean, had we maybe had another land, but no, there's too many things that we just don't have either of the pieces, and then we're under too fast of a clock. Had we drawn like maybe Island there, and then we like cantrip, and then we find spoils or something like that, maybe there's a chance. Right, on the play, I do like the Thought Seizes a little bit more than I do on the draw. Leyline I'm not interested in, even if it does sort of turn off the Ajani. I think I'm not too concerned about that. On the play, again, yeah, the ring is good. The artifact mana is like pretty solid. So what are the cuts? Do we just cut rings? I don't know if I like that much. I don't think I want to cut cantrips. I think we cut an unlife. Maybe we cut an unlife in 1 ring. Just try to like win before they can do something. Okay, so we have a turn 1 Slight, turn 2 Pentad, turn 3 Pentad maybe into like some sort of Ad Naus hand. Yeah, we keep this. Although actually it's probably turn 2 Profane, although it depends on how things shape up here, because we might want to get the Pentads down before a potential moon. Floodmaw is good. We do also need a Grace. Grace like gives us a path to conceivably win here. So we'll see what they do with this. Preferably a white 1-drop. Again, Ragavan can accelerate to turn 2 Moon, which I would rather not see. Okay, so now I'm a little more likely to play the Pentad. Okay, so if I play the Profane, then I do just have a win on 4. So I'm gonna suspend the Profane. I can get to spoils, and this Ad Naus isn't as relevant. They're not gonna Blood Moon me next turn, so I do get to get a Pentad down. And then, I mean, maybe if they moon after that, I still get to have 3 mana with the Pentads. Drannith Magistrate? I mean, it turns off my Lotus. Oh, it turns off my Profane. All right, fine. I was thinking, like, is that really that good? But I guess it is. All right, we've got a Manamo. We're on the Naus plan now. Now the question here is, do we burn a Pentad counter to play the other Pentad? If we do that, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 mana, which is not enough to Grace Naus in the same turn. Well, we can Grace Naus, but then we can't actually win that turn. So I think we pass. And if they play a Moon, then I can still burn the Pentad counter to play, to play another Pentad. So it's okay. Like, if that's what I want to do. Or I just burn the Pentad to, like, value Naus, which is a little bit dicey. But they have a tap land, which I like to see here. And they have a Static Prison. Okay, so I don't like to see that. They're going to hit us for 3. They don't have the fastest clock, and that's probably the best thing going for me here. Here, our Profane is going to not work. Can't cast it. Go to our turn. We pick up a Preordain, which is decent. I'm going to Preordain first, maybe see what we find. Spoils is good. Floodmaw is also pretty good. So I'm going to top. I'm going to go for this other Pentad. And if they have a Moon here, we do have Floodmaw into win. And, if not, then we do just have a win lined up. So honestly, at this point, I would like them to have a Moon. And they only have 4 damage, 4 cards in hand. Could have maybe thought about stacking them the other way if they have like a Dash Ragavan, because if they have a Dash Ragavan now, then they get to bounce our Pentad. But I guess we just replay it. So maybe that's better than just losing the spoils. Okay, so they have the Blood Moon, and we do have the Floodmaw for it. So this should be okay now. Make another cat. Go to our turn. Draw the Floodmaw. Bounce the Blood Moon. Our opponent can have the tapped fish. Now we are going to win. Oracle. Let it resolve. Trigger on the stack. Spoils. Trigger on the stack. Grace. Or, well, spoils and trigger on the stack. Grace. All right. So, into the Floodmaw, working as intended. Simeon Spirit Guide. Opponent says SMH. I mean, we put bounce spells in our deck for a reason. I don't know. I don't know. They had like 3 pieces of hate, so I don't think they can be too upset that we had 1 answer to hate. All right, so we win round number 1, nice and clean. Let's get into round number 2. All right, so we are on the draw here with a pretty decent hand. This is probably a turn 4. I mean, maybe we find like a Pentad. I mean, I'd be more happy with this on the play, but we're not going to send this back. Another thing potentially worth noting is that last game was a game where Floodmaw won us the game. Echoing Truth would not have won us the game there. So being 1 mana was a big deal. Opponent is playing Infect. So Infect, traditionally a horrible matchup for Ad Naus, but we'll see how it goes. Neither of these, neither Naus or Infect are particularly common as decks anymore. I'm going to take... I thought that was a Preordain. I meant to keep the Preordain, but we'll see. Yeah, I thought that was a Preordain, so I was trying to bottom the Dark Slick, and then I right-clicked. I guess right-click still selects with Slight. Or maybe I right-click and then left-clicked. I'm not sure. We do have this Otawara, so like if it came down to it, maybe we can survive with this, although I think the odds are not good. Especially not after missing that, or like not taking the Preordain. That was a bad misclick. Now I could play the Thassa's. I don't think I want to. I mean, this is not yet a creature that's really like pumpable in the same way. I mean, yes, they can pump it, but it still just has Toxic 1. It's not like a proper Infect creature. This could actually be Rotpriest Storm rather than proper Infect, which I'm maybe suspecting it is based on the fact that they seem to have kept a hand with no Infector. So if that's the case, that's also bad for us. Another Rotpriest. Okay. Now each spell would turn into 2 poison counters. And I mean, we pass again. And that's also pretty bad. I don't think I can really afford to play the Oracle, though. I think we need to just hope we top deck, or if we don't, maybe we Otawara. Now note that they did not kill us on their turn 3, so, also note that we drew 2 more lands. We would have been able to surveil those out of the way with the Preordain. We are definitely getting a little bit flooded. This is target of a spell, so Otawara is an ability. We could potentially bounce one of these and not take a toxic, or, not take a poison counter from it. We do have Pact. Pact is kind of interesting. All right, so I'll play Swamp. And we can use this Otawara, try and do something with it. Probably going to go on their draw. No, maybe on their upkeep, actually. Yeah, I think on their upkeep is the time to do this. Again, note that this is before they draw the card for the turn and then potentially get the pump out of that. So we go to their main, another land. Oh, and it said, ooh, a classic? Did I notice that before? I don't know. I feel like I noticed it, but then I'm not sure if I commented on it. They get to hit us for 1. We get another chance to top deck something here. No, this trigger is on target, not on resolution, so Pact doesn't help us so much there if they have spells to target their Rotpriests. Still wondering what could even be in their hand. Metamorphose? What are they playing? Ooh, so now we have a decision to make. Do we burn Pact Grace or not? So if they have, they've played the Rotpriest, Morphos is spell number 2. So if they have like a Ground Rift or something like that, then we would just be dead, because then that's going to be 6 more infect. I think we do have to burn it here and hope we draw the spoils. It could also be cantrip into spoils at this point. So we'll Grace the Pact trigger. We have an active Grace. Draw for turn. Pick up another Grace, which is not exactly the greatest. Play a city. And the question is, do I pass or do I play the Oracle? The Oracle potentially blocks 1 toxic. If I think that they have like... So blocking 1 toxic, I'm going to 6 versus 7. Does 6 versus 7 matter? It's two targets either way with Rotpriest in play, so I think I'm not going to play the Oracle. I think it's very likely we're dead here. But we'll see what they do. Maybe they don't have it. Maybe they're just flooding out like we are. But again, this all goes back to that misclick. I mean, we'd be 2 cards deeper in our library. Potentially we could do something with that. Sure, they have a Pyrotic Ritual. Ground Rift. Desperate Ritual, okay. So nothing yet. Is it a Past in Flames, maybe? They could, like, Past in Flames Summoner's Pact. Okay. Another Rotpriest. It's a Wild Canter. They're filtering to green. Were we just dead anyway? Or is it Past in Flames and they're going to try and draw out of it? Grape Shot. Okay. So, yeah, I mean, they just have enough here. All right. So we will scoop it up. We're dead. We never really found the key black card. But again, misclick, that's on me. All right, so against the Storm deck, Orm's Chant, definitely. Phyrexian Unlife is really not at its best here. During is okay. Consigned to Memory countering a trigger, in particular a Storm trigger, is kind of interesting. It's a little bit sketchy in that things have to kind of be going wrong for it to be good. Maybe not, actually. And do we want the ring? I think we don't necessarily need the ring. Ring is a little bit slow. Floodmaw could be okay, but I think their plan is to just outrace us. So I think I'm okay just going like this. This is definitely a keep. So we have turn 1, Preordain, turn 2, Pentad. We have 1 combo piece already. We have Chant as disruption/interaction. And the City of Brass, the damage doesn't really hurt us too much, so that's nice. Now this is a Preordain, not a Slight. I think I'm interested in both another cantrip and another land. So I'm gonna top. This means that next turn I can play the Pentad, and then the turn after I like double cantrip and hold up Chant. And then hopefully the double cantrip finds me the win on turn 4. Or like in time for turn 4. Alright, so they don't have a turn 1 card here. Oh, they have a Bauble. Interesting that they're playing that now. I guess I would probably read that as a sign of weakness, actually, if they feel that they need to cycle this and not save it for Storm Count. But not 100% sure. I mean, like a sign of weakness in like a weird psychological way either. I mean, like their hand is probably not that strong, is my guess. But you know, it could certainly develop in a very strong way. They're playing an explosive deck. So here we're going to lead on the slight, I think. Preordain can keep multiples. Yeah. Okay, so they're cycling the bauble now. Oh, okay, sure. So we've got Courtyard. I'm going to play the slight first before I play a land, just so I have a little bit more information. Act of Negation, Profane Tutor. Now I could suspend the Profane. It's a little bit of a risk at this point. The other option is if I suspend the Profane, if they're threatening something next turn, I could chant off the Prism to stop it. And then, yeah, I think I do actually like that. Yeah, so if they don't have anything, this is stronger. And if they do have something, it's not catastrophic because, again, we can get them to burn some resources and then go for an Worms chant. Not a strike it rich, sure. I don't read that as they're going for it this turn necessarily yet. They certainly could. Rotpriest? No. Desperate Ritual, sure. So once they put a Rotpriest into play is when I'm going to chant. Or with a Rotpriest on the stack, I'll say. They're traversing for a Rotpriest, sure. Got a Bauble, yeah. The key is I want them to commit a little bit to whatever they're doing. Okay, so then they've got their Rotpriest in hand, and they didn't actually commit that hard. So the Profane ticks down. They're bobbling us. They don't know we have this chant. We didn't draw it on like the turn that they bobbled. They do see that we pick up an Angel's Grace. So I'm going to go for the Preordain here, and if I just find a spoils, we win outright. These are not spoils. Slight, we still win outright, although I'm going to play this gemstone first to not use my final counter on the other gemstone. We do. We find a spoils. So we just get to go for it here. So I'm going to stack the Oracle first. This way, if they have some sort of like silence effect or something themselves, then they probably have to use it now. But then I can respond with instant speed stuff. So it doesn't really do anything. So then I can spoils and I can grace. And hopefully that's it. Again, they do have the 1 mana up, but they're a green-red deck, so I don't think this is likely to do that much. Okay, good. So Floodmaw, I mean, we could potentially bounce Rotpriest with like a Storm trigger on the stack or something like that. I do like being a little bit more defensive on the draw. But I think I want to just also keep my combo as consistent as possible, so I don't really want to cut mana. I could maybe cut like 1 cantrip or something. That game, the cantrips were pretty good, though. Maybe I cut 1 Profane for being a little bit slow, especially on the draw. And then we keep like a Consign. Maybe we split the difference. 1 Consign, 1 Floodmaw. Yeah, let's go like that. Could also have thought about bringing in a ring, but again, I think the ring's a little bit slow. Again, they can also just be very explosive and kill us out of nowhere on like turn 3 or something, so we want to avoid that as much as possible. Okay, so 2 cantrips, 5 lands. This feels probably too slow, not reliable enough. So I'm going to mulligan this. This is better. This has 3 lands, the full combo, and a chant to buy a turn. Actually, this is very good. All we need to find is just 1 more land. Oh, but we need to send a card away. So now we have the interesting choice. Do we send a land away, or do we send the chant away? I think we actually send a land away. I'm going to send plains away. I'm going to hold the full combo and kind of hope that we draw some lands. Our opponent has scooped it up, so they lost connection, I guess. That's a little bit anticlimactic. I think our hand did stand a reasonably good chance at beating a average hand out of their deck. You know, we have land pass, chant them when they go for it on turn 3, and then, you know, if we draw like 2 lands along the way, then we're just fine. Cantrip also is very likely to find us lands, so we have a lot of hits and, you know, sort of plenty of time to actually hit them, like 3 natural draw steps. So I think I liked our position there. But all right, 2-0 so far. Ad Naus feeling pretty good. Let's keep going. Okay, round 3. We are on the draw yet again. Our opening hand is looking pretty good. We've got 2/3 of our combo, 3 lands, a preordained to help us find that missing piece, and a pact to hopefully help us bridge the gap from turn 3 to turn 4. So if we can like pact their turn 3 play and then grace, this is definitely a hand that can get there. Turn 1 looking like Seachrome Preordain. Well, let's see what our opponent does. They lead on a plains. Could it be energy again, maybe? So far, nothing. Okay, plains pass is something I'm pretty happy to see. Probably aren't going to need 2 pact of negations. Ad Nauseam is interesting here. I think it's... I think it's probably not good enough, though. Yeah, we just don't really have any extra mana. If we had like a Pentad Prism or something, I'm more into keeping this Ad Naus. Given we're not really going to be casting it before for turn 5 as like anything other than a value Naus, I'm going to put this on the bottom again, figuring again I'm likely to find a land, and I do need to find an Oracle or a little bit more action. Also gives me another 2 shots instead of 1 at like a Profane Tutor on 2. We pick up an Angel's Grace, so we do have Force of Will in hand now. Pact Grace. So if we need to use a pact a little bit more aggressively, we can. Mountain. Still nothing. So if this is energy, I would be very surprised that they have no turn 1 or turn 2 play. Spoils does represent Oracle, so that's good. We need to make the choice as to, are we going to spoils on the end step at some point here? Opponent is just passing, so they still have nothing. Interesting. I'm going to preordain here in case the land we find is a fast land, at which point then I want to hold the Otawara. Okay, and we do find a Seachrome Coast. We also find an island. I'm going to bottom the Seachrome, keep the island, and then I can play the island, and we're looking at end step spoils for Oracle. And then we hope we don't die. Opponent has continued to do nothing. Do I risk death here? I mean, yeah, we're so favored here, but ultimately, what could go wrong if we wait? We have double pact. We can pact, or we can pact grace if we had to. I'm actually just going to wait and try and get this all in one turn. Play an Otawara. We have triple pact. Okay. And until they force some action, I'm not going to be too worried here. Steam Vents is interesting. I'd also like to see what they're actually playing so I know what to bring in. I think I don't want to board this in. Or I don't want to use the Profane Tutor. Dress down. That's fine. It's looking like control, I would imagine. Yeah, if I can find the 5th black mana in the same turn, that's a pretty big advantage for us. Okay, and we do. So here, with triple pact backup, we're just going for it. So we have Grace, we have Spoils for Oracle, spoils away the rest of our deck, and then play the Oracle. We're being a little bit careful with what lands we have to tap because the Island and the Otawara are our 2 blue mana, and then we need 2 black mana beyond that. We'll see. Are they going to go for the counter on this? We can also see whether we would have died. We would not have died, but, you know. I think we played it safe given that we had the pacts. We'll name Simeon's Spirit Guide. All right, what do you got? We got triple pact. Spell Snare. All right, well, we've got a pact for that. Wonder if they actually have triple interaction. That would be impressive. Actually, no, they need quadruple interaction. They have the subtlety as well. They're subtleting the Oracle. Oh, we've got to pact it. Wonder. So it's good to know we are playing against control. Trigger is on the stack. Wait a minute. Oh no, that's 1 in our hand. Yeah, okay. So discharge doesn't work against the Oracle. For a second, I was thinking that was 1 in our deck, and I wasn't sure how that could have happened. But Salty didn't salty anything back. All right, so we are up against Jeskai Energy Control. We had the triple pact. We definitely want our Orm's Chance. The getting up to like a bigger total as far as mana goes is a little bit less relevant. Consigned Memory we can potentially counter like a subtlety trigger or something, like a subtlety trigger or something like that, but I don't necessarily love that. I will take the ring. I don't need blooms. They do have snare, and snare is potentially good against prism. Don't know if I want to cut all of my fast mana. Don't think I'm going to need Flood Maw necessarily, although it could be kind of good against, like, if they have like a dress down, we could potentially like bounce the dress down back, and if they don't have mana to replay it or something like that. I think that's a little bit niche. I think there's a case to be made for at least 1 or 2 consigns though. Could cut the Phyrexian Unlife. Yeah, I think Unlife is not actually that good here. I'll bring in 1 consign. Could also hit like a dress down. We have 3 Thoughtseize, 2 Chant, 4 Pact as our main like set of interactions. So like nearly a full 1/6 of our deck is interactive, which is nice. We also know what our opponent is playing, so we can sideboard properly. Would have been unfortunate if we didn't pick up that 3rd Pact and then like lost to triple interaction though. Although maybe I wouldn't have gone for it there with only 2 if they were just holding that many cards up without doing anything. Maybe you still go for it there. You probably still go for it there with 2. So our opponent is on the play. We have the combo in hand alongside a Profane Tutor, so this is a pretty good hand. Could get a little nerfed by a Teferi, but they're not playing that many Teferis nowadays from what I've seen. I don't think it's like the full 4 Teferi. Go to our turn. Pick up an Orum's Chant. It's decent. I'm going to play a Clear Water. I'm not going to need 2 blacks like that. And then I can play the Swamp and then suspend the Profane on 2. Looking to get up to 4 mana and then get a Pact with this Profane. Or even if I get to 5 mana and then have like Chant plus Pact, that would be nice. So we have the tools to fight through. But, you know, we do need to hit a couple more lands. We do hit a land, that's a start. So we can suspend the Profane. They probably, yeah, they get another Surveil. So we do have the ability here, if nothing else changes, we get to go for it on 4 with 1 Pact. But let's see what else they do. Land, and then hopefully not Teferi. So far not Teferi. Narset, okay. Narset is like fine. It's not great to see. I mean, they could have like Wheel or whatever, but can't really do a whole lot about that. Pick up another Angel's Grace, that's kind of useless. See what they go for here, though. Definitely not going to silence them here. I think it's unlikely they play something on their main. So they hit a Force Negation. What did they get the first time? They didn't reveal anything, so they failed to find the first time. They have a Teferi. Okay, I mean they do take out our Profane. They take it down, play a Plains. Best draw here would be Pact, because then we do actually... Oh no, we can't really Pact the Teferi. So best draw is, I guess, a land. Yeah. Okay, so then we get to maybe go for a Chant next turn and still have a chance. Hopefully they like play the Ring or something, although I think it's unlikely. We go to our turn. Pick up another land. So here I can Chant. Would turn off Snare. I imagine it eats a Force. But I don't really think things are improving for us by waiting. Although depending on how this gets countered, that may change what I do. I may wait after. They're tapping for the force. Okay. And the question is, do we go for it here? So I could Grace, I could Spoils. And the thing is, if they have like another force, this does make them use it. We do lose to something that they can hold back further, like a snare or a dispute, a snare, a dress down, a subtlety. So there are a lot of ways that we can lose. I think it's worth the risk, because I think we're in a reasonably bad shape at the moment. And if we can turn an Angel's Grace Spoils into getting a force, I think it's worth it. Like, if it basically, this beats some things and it loses to some things. But we're not like, you know, again, I don't necessarily know that things improve by waiting here, so we'll take our risk, and if they don't have it, then okay, then they don't have it. And again, we conceivably could have beaten like another counter, like another force. Well, not beaten another force, but if they have consign, it's too late for dress down now, so the trigger's on the stack. Sure, what they have here. It feels like consign. It is consign. Okay. All right. So another thing that they could have, the replicate does not matter due to the Teferi. If I want to change anything around, no, I think I feel pretty good about this. I'll still keep the profanes even if Teferi does neutralize them. I think the tutoring is still just relevant. If we go 1-for-1 against Teferi, it's not the end of the world. There being 4 card. I guess he does also turn off Pact, but there's kind of not much we can do about that. Yeah, we'll keep this. We have Thoughtseize, Profane, Thoughtseize, and then hopefully resolve the ring. I like that. Profane can get us the 4th land for ring if we need it to, although we would prefer if we can get some sort of combo piece or interactive spell. So they have double counterspell Narset. So I'm going to take out a counterspell. I don't need to hit the Narset yet. I can potentially the next turn depending on what the situation is. So we can suspend the Profane here. And yes, they can potentially defend it with Counterspell, but if they defend it with Counterspell and then they play a Narset and then we play a ring, I'm pretty okay with that. Worst case would be that they have tuned the narrative there. Worst case would be that they like pick up a Force of Negation, they defend it, Narset, get the Force of Negation, counter our ring. Then we would be in trouble. Got another land. Profane ticking down. Draw for turn. We pick up a Pentad Prism. It's not the worst pickup. Does mean we can potentially try to force through our ring a little bit better. We could take Narset, but they're going to counter the ring. So I think I'm willing to let them have Narset in order to get the ring myself. I don't really know why Supreme Verdict is in their deck. Maybe they're worried about like a Dramoka or a Sphinx of the Final Word or something like that. But traditionally a pretty bad card against Naus. So we can go for another Thoughtseize next turn and also take out whatever they Narsetted. Got another Thundering Falls. You can also just go get like a combo piece. What I do with that will depend on what the Narset shows. Oh, they don't even play the Narset. They're just surveilling. I think then I'm more likely to go get the Thoughtseize, but let's see what I draw. Okay. Or are they going to counter the Profane, maybe? Maybe they're countering this. They picked up another counter? Interesting. So do we take third Thoughtseize? We can take land. And then potentially use the Pact to defend the ring if we need to. I kind of like that, actually. Other options, we could take a combo piece. We could take like a Spoils. Our set is really not that scary, but I do need to ensure it resolves. So if I use the ring here and they counter, I will need to Pact if I don't go for the Thoughtseize first. But if I do go for the Thoughtseize first, then I've burned my Pentad Prism. I think it's, and I'm also at 2 life lower for the ring. I think I'd rather have the mana and then potentially tap next turn for the Pact. And yeah, and have the life. Maybe I'm actually grabbing Swamp here. Yeah, let's grab Swamp. Grab a land. And then defend it using Pact. I'm gonna pick up Oracle, not bad. So we've got the ring on the stack. Did they draw another counterspell? We know they have Narset, Verdict, Mountain, Manamo, and one unknown. Pack that. They did draw the third counterspell. And we can potentially get wrecked here if they blow up our Pentad Prism and we don't find a Grace. That would be bad. Preordain. I think I am going to use it here. Main thing we're looking for is a Grace. Bottom both of those. All right. They do have Manamo playing Narset, I would imagine. Looking like, yeah, there's the Narset. Okay. Tick down the Narset. Let's see what they get. Keeping a blue up for potential interaction. So on my upkeep, the way I'm going to stack this, okay, and they pick up a ring of their own. So on upkeep, the way I'm going to stack this is I'm going to stack the Pact trigger under my ring trigger. And then let the ring trigger resolve. And then draw with the ring. Oh yeah, we can only draw the one. Forgot about that. It's the Narset. That was dumb. That was very dumb. Yeah, we should be drawing on our opponent's turn. Oh, that was so stupid. We do have another ring we can play. We do, and Chant is a good pickup. Yeah, I would have played this whole line differently had I thought about that. I just wasn't even thinking about that. Yeah, that was just stupid. Yeah. All right. Well, maybe we can still win. There's still some merit in doing it that way, because we do get to like respond to our pact with no, but we're still not going to do that. So no, there's no merit in doing it that way. So the interesting question is, do they Teferi our ring? They do. Okay. We draw. Pick up a land, not bad. Play another ring. And then we can draw on their turn. Does resolve. The chant is good to have because we're going to need that to get through whatever they have. And they have ring and verdict. What are they tapping for? Ring. Okay. So they've got their ring. Their draw. Just going to draw in response here. Maybe you should have drawn on their upkeep. We do still just need to find a couple combo pieces here now. Pick up a city. Again, not the worst. I'll play another ring, see if they counter. Get a draw on their turn. Keep the one without the counter. They're going to get some more cards here, though. And basically, I think we need to find like spoils, grace in our top two, really. They're going to have a lot of cards, and that may not even be enough. I guess the thing is, even if I go get Thoughtseize there, I have to Thoughtseize the counterspell to resolve the ring, and then the Narset still comes down. So maybe not as good of a position as it was in general. The top deck, if they didn't top deck the counterspell, then I could have pacted either the Narset or Thoughtseize the Narset, but that's not really on the table at this point. They maybe have another ring. They have another Narset. All right. I'm just gonna draw because we can. Land, not good, not good at all. And we are drawing 2 a turn, but they are drawing more than 2 a turn. They'll need to like bounce their ring back at some point maybe, and they'll probably replay it. Maybe we get a window where they like tap down in a little bit of overconfidence. They ditch the verdict, which makes sense. Verdict is just not a good card. Another land. This is just too many lands. I mean, maybe we get to like play around a Spell Pierce or something, but it's really not that good. What do they have? They have a Subtlety, sure. So Subtlety's going to hit us for 3. So we are under a bit of a clock. By a bit of a clock, I mean we're dead in like how many turns? Salty is 3. Ring is, it'll be 2 because I'm going to draw with it. Salty is 3 more, and then we're going to be dead. And we actually can't play a Grace on our upkeep because of the Teferi. Hopefully they downtick the Teferi to bounce the ring, but they won't. It's got to be, I think it's got to just be Grace plus spoils here off the top. I mean, maybe another ring that they let resolve could chain another turn, but it's not likely. Okay, sure. Okay, that's the spoils. That's a start. They discard some more cards. I think even if we find the Grace, I think it's just, I think they certainly have 3 pieces of interaction. The hope really would be that their pieces of interaction line up poorly with Chant. Okay, so we have a Gemstone Mine. We can't kick the Chant. This is flying. We're gonna die to our... Yeah, we're gonna die to our trigger. So, do I have an Unlife to spoils for? No, Unlife is in the sideboard. Trying to think if I have any other option. Not with the Teferi in play. With the Teferi not in play, I do actually have some options. In particular, you know, drawing in response to my ring trigger and hoping to find a Grace. But yeah, as is, not gonna get there. I mean, I definitely, well, I don't even know if I can necessarily call that a punt, because they just had the like, I need to resolve the ring, and it is still worth resolving the ring into the Narset because it is still just sort of 2 cards a turn. I did miss the 1 card draw by using the ring too soon. It wasn't gonna do it. I never look, but all right, it was just not happening. 5 cards down. Yeah, I mean, maybe if we get the Thoughtseize, but then we have to Thoughtseize in order to resolve the ring, and our entire game plan is based around resolving the ring. And if they don't have the counter magic there, then we can play the ring, pact the Narset, which I think I was thinking of doing. I don't remember. But was there another thing to get with the Profane there? Problem is, if I get the Thoughtseize to have 2 interactions, then I don't really have the pact because I only have 3 lands. Might actually have been worth getting the Thoughtseizing, and then taking the Narset, and then passing and trying to play the ring the next turn. Yeah, that might have been better. Not 100% sure about that. It's an interesting spot. It's like, I mean, the line we took is just great if they didn't draw interaction, but I did pretty solidly have the read that they had interaction because they played the tapped land instead of just jamming the Narset. And in that spot, like, if you're them, then the only way they don't play the Narset is if they have interaction, because, like, if they top deck to the interaction, because if otherwise you're just jamming the Narset and you're hoping to either hit a Force of Negation or that you live a turn and then you get to untap with the Narset, draw more cards, and, you know, find some interaction that way. Because as is, they're not gonna get there just like passing and doing nothing. So, like, you know. All right, round number 4. Okay, so to start off round number 4, we are on the draw yet again. So 4 out of 4 rounds on the draw so far. Our hand is interesting. We have 2 of the combo pieces and then 5 lands. I mean, any cantrip is a good draw. Profane is a good draw. Artifact mana or more lands are bad draws. I think I am going to keep this. I think I don't love it on the draw. It is potentially slow. But, like, I mean, I threw back a similar hand, I think, another time that had... Did it have 2 combo pieces? Was that when I knew the matchup, though? I don't remember. Yeah, I think it was against that, the Rotpriest deck. So here, potentially Nadu, which could be bad. We do have a Preordain, though, which is an excellent pickup. Exactly the sort of card we need. And Profane is good as well. Guarantees the turn 4. I'm going to keep both of these. We Profane, and then we Preordain on turn 3, hopefully looking for some interaction if we're not dead yet. I mean, it's not great, but I think it's, you know, a hand that conceivably can do something. So they got a Shifting Woodland and Insect. Sylvan Safekeeper, they have no... no Shuko yet. I'm going to suspend the Profane. We're just going to pass. Step 1 is, do you have a turn 3? Looks like they do. Oh no, they have a Teferi. Interesting. Alright, so our Profane, not that good. It's not Nadu, though. Pick up another land. I'm going to go for a Preordain. Both of these are bad. And then we pick up another land. Not good. Not good at all. We need spoils off the top here. Drawing a card with the Teferi. Make another Insect. They've got the Shuko. Do they have the Nadu? Looks like no. Not guaranteed that they don't yet, because they could still cord. A Grazer, another land maybe? Fail to find, or whatever. Not fail to find, but like fail to put it in there. They're cording, it looks like. Okay, so they're cording for 3. So we do actually need to kind of hang out in the middle of this, because we potentially get to grace them. Oh no, we can't. They have the Teferi. Never mind. So we're just going to pass, and not going to make you guys sit through this. I will see if they're playing Oracle and then come back in, you know, a few minutes. All right, so our opponent did combo down, and then they pick up the win with Thassa's Oracle. One interesting thing to note about Nadu, not very many decks are playing the Teferi. If they were not playing the Teferi, we do potentially get to Grace, and, you know, they probably have the endurance, you know, but there's like fringe chances we can maybe string something together in that case. Okay, so against Nadu, what do I want? Well, we want speed. Floodmaw is good as a little bit of interaction. Chant. A little less interested in Chant overall, I think. Especially on the play. Consign could potentially like stifle an endurance. Endurance is something we do need to worry about from them. They could have like a Dranith, but I'm not going to worry about that much. You know, like if they Dranith my Bloom or Tutor, then so be it. Life is really not so good here. They're not going to like discard me, so I'm not so worried about Grace ending up missing. Maybe we trim 1 Profane. And maybe we don't need the full 3 Consign. Like this seems reasonable. Could think about bringing rings in on the play. Don't like that much. They can just kind of win through ring. In fact, I don't like ring that much overall in the matchup, I think. Then do I want Consign back? Do I want a Floodmaw? Maybe I want a Floodmaw. Can slow them down. Mostly, though, we're trying to slow them with like Thoughtseize or like packed untap win with the Grace that we packed the Nadu with. This is like okay. It's not super exciting, but I'll keep it. We do get kind of screwed over by Teferi, so hopefully they don't have Teferi. Again, they're probably playing like 2 if they're playing it, so they're not that likely to have it. And most lists aren't playing it, although our opponent has clearly showed us that they are playing a list that is in fact playing it. Not good. Don't need more lands. That was pretty bad. Did I board out? I should have maybe left the one copy of the ring as a profane target. Well, so profane here. And then we go for the preordain next turn. Got Saga. And okay, they've got Nantuko. 5 cards left. Draw for turn. Spoils is a decent pickup. Just need to find some combo pieces. I will take a Thoughtseize. You can take the Nadu. They've got a Pact. So then they have the Consign. So if we take we take the Nadu. They can potentially consign their own pact or something like that if they need to. I'm gonna play this so that I have consign up. Oh, they don't have the blue. Interesting. All right, so we get hit for 2. Probably making a Saga token. Go to our turn. Profane ticks down. So we have a couple different options. One option is we can get Ad Naus. Another that I think I like is that we get Angel's Grace. And then if we potentially pick up Spoils, we can win in 2 turns, or Oracle, we win this turn. We can potentially consign their Saga trigger so that they can't search out like a Shuko. I think I like getting Grace. Draw for turn. Not great. You have the Plains. It's worth noting that they do have a consign of their own, so that is something we need to potentially play around. Yeah, and they make a construct, that's fine. We know that they have... Did we know about that? We thought sees them on... Yeah, we thought sees them on 2, so they have another Saga, Pact, Consign, and 1 unknown. So here, they can Pact for Nadu. They still can't play it. I'm going to consign this. Or replicate it once. All right, so they don't search. They do have a Safekeeper, so that can do some targets for them, but they do not have very many lands. They have another Saga, which is in fact not a blue source. They still need to be a little concerned about pacting potentially. Now here's where Spoils is pretty decent. They don't have the blue to play their Consign. We pick up another Consign ourselves. Interesting. Okay. And we go to their turn because we don't really have anything else. And they have a Windswept Heath. Okay. So here they're presumably going for their combo, I would imagine. They're pacting, yeah. So committing to winning here. We can Grace and then make them essentially win on their upkeep. Or make them pay the pact on their upkeep. So if I take the Nadu here, I can potentially spoils for... Okay, well, first of all, I want them to sack a land. They have the consign. They could consign the pact trigger, though. So we know they have a consign, 1 on, or 2, 4, 5, sure. So they're hitting us for 4, down to 7. Yeah. Not sure why they wouldn't attack with that. They're sacking a land here. They do only get 1 here per. And they did hit a fetch land. You can see if they keep going. Again, we do have Grace. But now they're holding up Consign, which is bad for us. We have another Grace. So, all right, we get to pass the turn, and they have to pay the pact on their upkeep, and then they get to sack some lands and try and make something happen. Be interesting to see if they can sign this or if they just pay it. Okay, they're just paying. They're gonna attack us, I would imagine. Okay, island, sure. And they've got a Shuko. Okay. So we do have interaction here between Consign and Grace. They attack. That does force us to Grace. We could think about spoilsing, but I don't think there's anything we want to spoils for here. They can't win this turn. Presumably they're going to try and get another land into play so that they're holding Consign up themselves, though, which is not ideal for us. They do get to draw 1,000,000 cards here too, so we're in not great shape. I don't think there's anything here that I necessarily liked consigning. They have so many triggers. I guess I could have countered the Shuko, but I don't think that's... I mean, if they want to go for it, man, maybe I should have countered the Shuko. Yeah, that might have been a mistake in hindsight. Yeah, I'm not 100% sure about that, though, because, like, what is our plan to win? Our plan to win, so, like, if we counter the Shuko, they still have a bunch of lands and the Safekeeper. They probably just keep going and find another Shuko. They're reasonably likely to with the number of draws that they have. And then we're in the same spot without a consign. Here, if they, like, mess up, maybe we get to, like, consign their endurance or something and then try to win, maybe. Or got a Haywire Might. All right. Again, I'm not going to make you guys sit through this whole thing. I will be back in a second with an update on how this has gone. All right. So here's the update. We did eventually find another spoils, but our opponent is holding up at least one, probably multiple consigns. So I don't, we can't really do anything about it from this point. We don't have enough mana to go for a Naus line. And yeah, I mean, we're out of graces, and if we grace, I mean, if they go a little bit deeper into their deck, maybe there's a chance that, like, if they had gone for a win, but they played it right. They just kind of stopped, and then they just have, like, built a big board, and they're just attacking us with the board. So yeah, we're not gonna get this one, and it's gonna be round number 5. Okay, round 5. We are on the draw for 5 out of 5 rounds. Good stuff. Our hand here it's kind of okay. We have 1 land slight. We do have a spoils, which can potentially find a grace. We have double pact. I'm going to keep largely actually because we're on the draw, and that gives us 2 shots at the land. So hopefully we can get somewhere with that. If this is a slower deck, I think we're in good shape. If this is a fast deck, I think we're likely dead. But it depends on, like, this is a hand I'd take against, like, control. This is not a hand I want against, like, prowess. Wooded Foothills, great start. All right. Okay, but Wooded Foothills pass. Okay, Bloom is decent. We're going to slight. They're fetching. Commercial District, looking like Storm to me. Could be something else, but my money is on Ruby Storm. They keep their card on top. We do find a grace. That's good. I can suspend the Bloom and then pass. So hopefully they don't turn to us. That would be bad. Oh, Traverse. So they're not Ruby. This is, in fact, looking like Prowess again, perhaps. Unless it's Ruby playing Traverse, but that seems unlikely. It could be the Rotpriest Storm again. What are the chances? I don't know. Can't be that high. Naus, not a great pickup. I do need another land here. 1 land plus coast is 4 mana, but it's the wrong 4 mana. I'd also take cantrip into land. As long as we're not, like, under immediate threat of death this turn, then we can potentially pact grace, and then hopefully if we find a black land, be in an okay spot. Fetching something out. It is Rotpriest again. Someone must have played Rotpriest. I don't know. Fable. Okay, that's fine. So I'm thinking not Rotpriest. This kind of feels like I guess maybe creativity, but Traverse seems a little weird in creativity. Turn 3, draw for turn, preordain, good. Land? Manamo. Manamo is also the wrong land. We don't want the Oracle. The problem with Manamo is it's a blue land. Although, actually, no. If I take Manamo, I can make black with the Bloom, spoils for another land, and then use that land plus Manamo as my blue, and then coast is the white. So this is actually okay. Yeah, so this is fine. We have double pact to stop whatever they're doing, so we probably have it locked up here. But, let's see what they do. They could have triple interaction in some capacity. Shifting Woodland. Omniscience. That is not something we can interact with. So they do get to copy. Yeah, I mean, they do get to copy the Omni in a way that we can't interact with. Now they're casting an Omni. I think what I want to do is I want to attack their draw spells. So I'm aggressively going to pact cards that see other cards. Especially like a big draw spell. We've Omni'd in an Omni. The Ring. The Ring is a draw spell, but it's only one card. I'm more worried. I think about something that's going to go up cards. Yeah, I'm going to let the Ring go. And they're passing, it looks like. Oh, they're making a treasure. Never mind. Okay. Malevolent Rumble. I think again I'm okay with them finding a permanent. Stomping Ground, Shifting Woodland, Traverse. They get a land, but that doesn't matter. They do get a mana with the spawn. Seed of Hope. Also okay with that. They can get back a Seasoned Pyromancer. Arn. Arn is something that I'm going to pact. Arn can potentially get them a win con out of the sideboard. They have Fable. That doesn't do anything. I mean, sure, they make another Shaman, but that doesn't, again, that doesn't do anything. Discard 2 cards, then draw 2 cards. I'm going to pact this because it's a draw 2. They need the last card in their hand to be something perfect following this. They only have 3 mana, so they can't escape a Pyromancer or, exile. Actually, wait, never mind. What am I thinking of? Like, there's another card that I'm thinking of there that I don't remember. All right, so we're stacking the pacts below the bloom, and we're going to Grace. Cast the bloom. So not paying for the pact, not paying for the pact. Draw for turn. Pick up a Thoughtseize. That's actually kind of a decent pickup. So I can Thoughtseize them first and then go for spoils in case they have some sort of interactive card as the last card in their hand. And the math on that still works out. I still get 2 spoils, one of them for a land, and then 1 spoils away the rest of my library. Oh wait, no, they have a ring protection. Never mind. All right, so we can get actually, what land do I want to show them? Maybe we show them City of Brass. They probably know we're playing 4 City. We could have shown them Gemstone too. Simeon. It's actually pretty close. They had like basically the one thing that they could have that would give them a chance at getting through 2 pact. Putting an Omniscience into play with Shifting Woodland, which doesn't cast a spell. And we definitely know the power of Shifting Woodland. Check out the Gristlebrand deck that I've been playing on this channel if you haven't already done so. Do they have an interactive spell as their last card? Okay, and we get there. Nice. All right, so we are against Shifting Woodland Omniscience. So I like Chant. What else? Floodmaw is maybe okay. They have an Omni, we could respond with a Floodmaw. I kind of like that. Consign can count. Well, we can counter the ring, but I don't know if I like that much overall. What don't I need? On life, maybe a little bit slow. Got like a cantrip. Maybe we don't need the full 3 Floodmaw, like 2 Floodmaw, 2 chant. I don't know how heavy on permission they are. I mean, chant can stall for a combo turn, but if it's only about stalling a combo turn, I think we're probably faster on average, especially on the play. So I'm gonna actually leave out the chance. I may bring them back in on the draw, and then we can go like this. Between 2 Floodmaw, Thought Seizes. I mean, this does just win on 4. It's very much an all-in hand. I will keep it. Wait. Oh wait, we're on the draw. For some reason I was thinking we were on the play. I don't know what's happening. I'm tired. All right, so this is some of my decisions were a little bit worse on the draw. Not the worst. Still okay, but could be better. They mill a Karn. We pick up a Pact. Excellent pickup. Definitely a card we need. Spend 2 blooms, play a gemstone, pass the turn. So that's 7 mana. And with a land drop, that's 8 mana for a Naus Graceline. They go for a Stomping Ground. They've got a Malevolent Rumble. Also a card we tried a little bit of in the Gristlebrand deck. They don't mill an Omni or really anything relevant. Our blooms tick down to 2. For our turn, we have a Preordain. Plains Spoils. Do I need the spoils? Probably not. Actually, maybe. No, I think I don't. Will I take the plains? I think yes, actually. Potentially represents the... Well, okay. No, I was thinking about if it represents the ability to win with just 1 bloom. Not at the moment. If I had an Oracle, it does, obviously. They're sacking for a Karn. Do I want to Force of Will this Karn? Or do I just not really worry about it? It could Chalice on 0, in which case I'd have to counter that. I think I'm willing to counter this. We Grace it. Then we can use the spoils to go get another Grace. Stack our triggers. Play a Grace so that we don't die. Not like to pay. Draw for turn. Pick up a Darkslick Shores. Okay. And we're just gonna pass again. Depending on what they do, we have some different options. We could spoils for Grace. But yeah, well, we'll see what else they do. So they have another land. The ring. It's another Karn. It's bold. Turns off our blooms. We have 2 Floodmaws. Alternately, we could go for a Pact. We have 3 Pacts. If we Pact it, we Naus in response on upkeep. I think I like that best. Find Pact, we Pact. We Naus in response on upkeep with our blooms. Leave a white floating, we Grace. We go to our turn. We hopefully have found the other pieces that we need to win. If not, maybe we just play the ring. Okay, yeah, I'm in for this. We are going to be taking a lot of life loss here, so this is not guaranteed to work. But it's better than nothing. What did we hit? We got rid of one Thassus and a bunch of stuff that doesn't matter. The bad thing would have been if we got rid of Angel's Graces. We need the Graces. All right, so we're going to our turn 4. Got Blooms coming off Suspend. Let the second Bloom come off. Cast that. Now we can make black, blue, no, black, white. And we're looking for a Grace. We would repeat, yes, yes. Okay, that's the Grace. So now we're seeing how greedy we can get. Preordain, another Grace, a Profane Tutor, a Pentad Prism, Bloom, another Grace, Pentad Prism. Risk here is too high, so this is where we stop. So we Grace. Draw for turn. Okay, so the Bloom can get suspended. We have Floodmaw, we have Pact, we have Ring. We could just play a Ring. I kind of like... Oh, actually, I'd hate that. I completely hate that. So Pathway is probably our land. We can play a Pentad. We can suspend a Profane. Or we can Cantrip. I think it's unlikely that we're going to want to suspend the Profane. I think I'm going to Cantrip. So if I Slight, let's see what we find. Spoils is great. So now I have Spoils. There's an active Oracle effect. Still not enough mana, though. So I'm going to go for another, or I'm going to go for a Preordain. I'm going to bottom both of these. We pick up a Minamo, all right? We're just going to pass the turn. Clean up. They're fetching again. We do have Pact Grace available. We'll discard some of these City of Brass, Clearwater, Profane, maybe the Ring, although it may be worth keeping the Ring. With 14, we need to discard 7. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't think I need the Pentad. 6. I definitely want both Grace. I need the Spoils. Do I keep? I think maybe I don't need the Minamo. Well, the Minamo could be good alongside the Ring. I could ditch the Gemstone. Yeah, I think I actually like ditching the Gemstone. And then if I don't get anything relevant next turn, my next turn is like Ring, Minamo, draw a million cards, and hopefully find what I'm looking for with the ability to Grace in response on upkeep next turn. Or the turn after, I mean. Opponent is paying costs for something, for a cash grab, okay. They can get a Haywire Might, they can get a Fable. Haywire would take out our Pentad. It's relatively okay. We still do have 3 oracles, so decent chance of hitting the 3rd oracle. Especially given that we slighted first and then preordained, I think. So we have a couple cards on the bottom, I think. Guess they're maybe thinking about if they want to take the Fable instead, but or maybe they're thinking about taking the Ring. The Ring doesn't do anything. I don't know. I feel like they should take Haywire and hope that blowing up this Pentad does something, but they could also take it and then, you know, sort of hold it for the Ring. Fable does potentially represent lethal next turn in a way that the others don't, though. If shifting, all right. They're playing Haywire. Are they using it? Seasoned Pyromancer. I'm not too concerned about that. Interesting that they didn't use the Haywire. And they already played their land, so they can't generate another mana here. We go to our turn. Bloom ticks down, not relevant. Draw, we pick up a Seachrome Coast. I think it's just going to be play Ring pass. And then actually draw with the Ring now. Question is, do I play the Seachrome? Could actually double draw with the... No, I don't want to get the Ring eaten, though. Okay. Yeah, alright, so it's going to be Minamo. And potentially, if I need to use that on my upkeep, I can. We'll play the Ring. Gain protection, draw a card. Threaten to go to 1 life. Look up another Floodmaw. Not really what I'm interested in. I do know that I could Floodmaw the Haywire Might and then, you know, counter it on the way back down. That feels a little bit aggressive. I don't think we need to do that. Though this does represent my only draw. I could also Floodmaw... Oh no, it's... Yeah, I can't Floodmaw my own Ring. That's a spot where Echoing Truth would be a little bit... Okay, so they're exiling the Ring. Sure. I maybe should have left the Minamo up and burned a Pentad counter for it. I feel like I'm so likely to hit an Oracle or anything. All right. They don't attack with the Pyro. There's not really any reason to. Go to our turn. Bloom ticks down again. Pick up a Concealed Courtyard. So we still kind of need to find something. I can bounce both. I can bounce the Pyro when they go to combat. Just use this as like unsummon. And, you know, not be threatened. So that's something. They do get to Shifting Woodland copy something. We get to potentially bounce it if we need to, though. Not necessarily sure what they would even want to copy there. Copying a Fable in the upkeep. Yeah, that's okay. Does it flip? Yeah, it flips, but they don't... Doesn't... It's just... Oh no, it's... Oh, it has no counters. Never mind. I don't know what I was thinking there. I was thinking when it's out of counters, it flips. Okay, so let's see what they attack with. Both, sure. We'll bounce the Seasoned Pyro. Now we have an interesting choice of do we bounce the Haywire Might? I'm going to go with, I think, no. Take the Haywire Might hit. Go to 1. We do get to grace a turn to Fog also. And that doesn't really matter at this point. I think I maybe should have played the Concealed Courtyard last turn. The extra black source maybe is something we want. I think overall it doesn't matter that much, but what'd they hit with this? Seasoned again? Oh, they're playing the ring. Yeah, that's fine. We just kind of win through the ring, so that's, you know, obviously the really nice benefit of playing a Thassa's Oracle deck. So our Bloom comes in, cast it, still just one Oracle gone, 3 left in our deck, a couple cards on the bottom that we know, so we're probably about 1 in 5 to draw the Oracle, although we've been similar odds for the past couple of turns. Pick up a Profane Tutor, that is not good. We will suspend it though. And then we're looking at gracing the turn. They take their ring up, and they potentially can present multiple threats here, which is a little bit annoying. So here I'm going to grace. So yeah, I mean, we've failed multiple we've failed like what, like 4 1 in 5s in a row. About one. It's a little worse than 1 in 5. It's better than 1 in 6 though, I think, if I've done my math correct. So that's 25, 36 by 25, 36. 25 and 36 is like a little better than 2/3. So I think we're like 50-50 who have drawn specifically Oracle by now. Although we do also have some cantrips we can hit. We used 4. Did I board any out? 1 out. So there are only 2 cantrips left. Okay. What else you got? Shifting Woodland, copy Omni. Yeah? What are you playing with it? Traverse. Creature or land card. Here I'm going to cast this with Gift, bouncing the Omni. So they don't get to play for free whatever creature they find. They have Seed of Hope, though. So that happens. They get a Malevolent or a Seasoned Pyromancer. Can't play the Seasoned Pyromancer, so then they have 2 cards that we don't know about. Basically, it's draw something next turn or bust at this point. We can't even go for the Grace Spoils Hope the Oracle's on the bottom play because it just isn't, and we know it's not. I guess I could spoils for something like that. Maybe that gets me there, because there are still 3 spoils in the deck, which are also just immediate wins. Oh no, there's 2 spoils in the deck. So 2 spoils. Actually, we have better than 1 in 5 odds, actually. We had about 1 in 3 odds that we failed for about a little worse than 1 in 3 odds that we failed for like 4 turns on. Fable, sure. Go to our turn. Profane ticks down. Draw for turn. All right, so now we need to think a little bit. So if we spoils for spoils, I know the bottom 2 cards are not Oracle. Right? So first of all, is there any benefit in passing? How many graces are gone? 1, 2, 3. This is my last grace. So we don't really have any other option besides chaining spoils. So if I spoils or if I grace, and I need to hope that Oracle is third from the bottom and that my other 2 oracles are above my bottommost spoils. But let's see. It's not likely, but it's our only line. Spoils for spoils. Okay, what did we lose? We lost all 4 oracles. All right, well, that's the game. Can't believe we lost that. I guess I should have. Well, no, because I would have had so many. I would have had seen a couple more cards, but it would have been fewer cards actually overall had I put myself into like a death situation with the ring. Just feels like just bad luck, just plain old bad luck. Maybe I could have kept the profane off of the value Naus. Chance that that works out. What else? I think I like where we're at with this. I mean, Floodmaw is good. Do I want the 3rd Floodmaw? On the play, I think on the play I just want speed. Not really so into chant. The Karns. Oh, I could bring in a couple consigns for the Karns. Hang on. And maybe I cut like a slight and the ring for that. Did I get that in time? Hopefully I got that in time. Not sure. This submission received. So this hand has 2 Floodmaws, a Bloom, 1 combo piece, but no real draw or no way to find other combo pieces. I think this is too risky. We're going to mull. This is better. This is a definite keep. We put back 1 Bloom. Or do we put back... Yeah, no, we put back 1 Bloom. We have the combo. Does require spoils finding grace, but, you know, sometimes a risk to take. Bloom is good here. We are on the play, so probably they don't kill us on turn 3. Hopefully. It's possible if they get, you know, the right hand. And this deck is, well, it doesn't win at instant speed, so I like the Griselbrand deck better. But, yeah, because, like, you can be more tricky with stuff. All right, so we've got a Suspend Bloom, Seachrome. So we go to our turn. Bloom ticks down. Draw a Dark Slick. That's okay. I'm going to hold off on spoils at the end step or anything like that, because if I draw a Grace, then this spoils represents a Pact, which might be something we need. I think they're probably playing like Endurance. We didn't necessarily see it yet, but it seems like the type of hate I would expect them to have. Very interesting how like permanent based they are with what they're hitting. It's kind of right. You know, I don't want to judge them when I haven't tested the deck at all. I'm not saying that like the deck is right or wrong. Like it makes sense to play permanence when, you know, then they're searching for your Omni, but then they're also combo pieces. So I like that as like a synergy. The only downside is, again, it's not instant speed. Pick up a pathway. We're just going to keep passing. And we'll see what they do. And they've got a cash grab. And they picked up a shifting woodland, so that makes sense. Hopefully it's like shifting woodland play Fable or Seasoned or something like that. Most shocking would be, I was going to say, most shocking would be if it was like Shifting Woodland play Blood Moon. Okay, so I think Endurance is probably the only thing that gets us here. We actually 7. Hang on. So if we spoils on the end step here for the Grace, we potentially miss out on naturally drawing a Grace or a Pact or another spoils. But if we do we have a line that beats Endurance? So if we spoils for the Grace, we hit the Grace. We have 4 mana, 5 mana, 6 mana, 7 mana. We'd have to also spoils for the Naus on the end step. No, 7 mana, but we could go to 8 mana. So on our turn, no, but Grace Naus, but then I have the 2 left over. No, that doesn't work. Okay, so it doesn't actually help us unless I also spoils for Naus. I was thinking, is there some line where I can like spoils for Grace, spoils for Naus? We're 1 mana short of spoiling for Naus with the active Grace. And if we spoils for Naus before the active Grace, I think we're just dead. So I mean, there's a chance, but I'd rather play into the chance of them not having Endurance. And so then I'm gonna wait, since I have plenty of mana on my turn. You know, the chances that I draw either an interaction piece or a Grace or something like that, and I can choose to use this spoils for defense, that's a bit higher, so I'm gonna go with that. So we get the Bloom, pick up a Profane, and we basically just have to go for it here, I think. Yeah, is there any way around this? No. It's gonna be spoils for Grace. And I think I'll use the Bloom to play it. Angel's Grace. Okay. We got rid of the Ad Nauseam. And alright. So we're gonna go Oracle. With it resolved. Spoils. And Grace, and do we beat the Omni deck? Or is it Endurance? 4 cards in our graveyard. Also, we'd be dead to the fact that we ran out of life, but I think Endurance is like the only thing I think they could conceivably have here, and they don't. So we end up with a 3-2. So let's pop back to the list and take another look. Okay, so we ended up with a 3-2 with a pretty stock version of Naus. That last match was kind of a crazy one. I mean, Naus is Naus. Floodmaw is good, definitely an upgrade. Consign is also good, but ultimately it's a turn 4 deck. I mean, sometimes yes, you can win on 3 with like the Pentad Oracle, but being a turn 4 deck in a format where a lot of decks are turn 3 decks feels not great. Maybe it gets a little bit better with the Nadu ban, but still, it still is just kind of what it is. Thoughtseize is good, Pact is good, the extra interaction is what we need to be playing. I don't really feel like we want the third Pentad, although maybe honestly, maybe like third Pentad in the board. Besides that, everything is kind of, you know, just what it is. So until until the ban update, then maybe we will be at some point going back to like Necro or things like that, try and see if we can iterate and do any more improvement. But for the time being, let's play some classic Naus while we just kind of wait around. And yeah, I mean, it was fun. I think this could have conceivably been a 4-1 with, I'm not necessarily calling either match 3 or match 4 a mistake, although it's debatable. Maybe some different play gets you there, but it's also easier to say things like that in hindsight rather than in the moment. So you can say, oh yeah, definitely counter that or stop that or whatever, but that's with the information about what happened afterwards. In the Nadu match, for example, we yeah, I don't know. All right, until next time, take care everyone, keep casting Thassa's Oracle, and hopefully we meet again when Nadu is banned. All right, bye.